It's the Second Cup of Joe and John with Joe Elvis and John Dwyer.
Joe, when we begin, before we get to our we're on a roll with our guests. This guy is. No, by the way, close his mic off. Okay, so he's going to want to talk, and
what a great welcome, John. First off, shut his mic off,
and then just by the time you think we're ignoring you, we're going to introduce you. Is the way it goes. Okay, I didn't give him the outline of the show, but Joe, God. I always think of things that that people would go, oh, I remember that. Give me a lyric to a song that you thought was the lyric to the song and you weren't close, but you only learned about it decades later.
Oh, sure. One I laugh about all the time. Dancing Queen, feel the beat of the tangerine.
Huh? It was a tangerine?
Tambourine.
It was a tambourine. Okay, well, that's not too bad.
You make that.
I had one when I was I'm saying 6 years old.
You don't have to sing it.
Tom Jones had a song called "She's a Lady," and here's it. And I have this called up. She's a lady. Whoa, whoa, whoa! She's a lady. Talking about that little lady, and the lady is mine. I thought talking about that little lady was "gotten benown." Gotten, but it's not even words. And I argued with my sister. I'm 6 years old. She goes, "It's talking about that little lady." And I go, "No, it's gotten benown." And I got one more for you. What do you got? Another one?
That's a great song. I got Tom Jones. She's a lady.
Whoa, whoa, whoa! We would play it at a pizza parlor where you had you put the quarter in, and they had the jukebox on the table. That was always one. Do you know any of those?
Sure.
Don't act like you're not my age.
The jukebox was everything because that's all we had. There wasn't really XM or stuff playing through the house.
Yeah, you didn't have your Sonos going. Or
you had to go put something in the box and play 5 songs for $2 or something.
And it took forever. But it bought time to when the pizza came.
That's right.
Yeah. So there's it. Do you have another one or no? I got one more.
An easy one was "Blinded by the Light." Man for Man song wrapped up like a douche something in the night, where it's revved up like a deuce, rolling in the night or something like that.
It's not what you thought it was.
It was just things you made up.
Yeah, but you thought it was. Yeah, there was one. My this is from 1.0, as we call the first marriage. My sister-in-law always thought that "Big Old Jet Airliner" by Steve Miller was "Big Old Jam at the Lighthouse."
That's a stretch.
That's a pretty good one.
Inhaled.
There was no drug testing to get into the wedding.
No.
So anyway, all right, let's get to our guest.
We know people. Let's take a spin through Joe and John's Rolodex.
It's on S, Joe. I'm so proud. During our broadcast careers, a lot of our guests are frankly from our Rolodex of people that you've met. We both and I have not burned every bridge. And I have it with this guy. And super fun to cover. One of the most positive people I've ever met. It's former wide receiver for the Ohio State University.
That's it.
And the Tennessee Titans, Chris Sanders. Man, Chris, welcome, man.
Hey, I appreciate it, man. First of all, I got a song too, man.
This is what I want to hear.
A Michael Jackson song when he says, "Mama say, Mama saw Mamakusa."
Yeah.
I thought he said, "Mama saw Mongoose."
That's the best one.
I mean, I'm just singing the whole song. I'm like, what in Sammy Hill is he saying? If you sing it like 8 times, "Mama say, Mama saw Mamakusa." See?
No, it's Mongoose. Yeah, it is Mongoose. I didn't know. That's a good one. See, he came strong out of the box. No show prep. Didn't know anything, and he came out strong. This is why we do what we do at the beginning. So anyway, Chris, look, you are the 3rd round draft pick of the Oilers at the time. We'll talk about all that.
Sure.
But now you're an MBA. Montgomery Bell Academy. I laughed at all you Titans players, all you Oilers players, and you may not be in this group, and maybe you are.
All right.
When it was announced, when Coach Fisher walked in and announced that this franchise that you were drafted for in 95 is moving to Nashville, Tennessee, to a player, didn't go over well because you're a young professional athlete living in a major city, Houston. And nobody, they said, well, I'm done playing. I ain't never living here.
Yeah.
And guess what? Y'all live here.
Yeah.
Every one of you lives here.
But first of all, my heart is broken. I mean, I moved here with the team.
I know you did.
I'm Chris. Nice to meet you. I'm the guy.
No, I know you moved here with the team. No, I know that's my whole point. You are in that window of.
It was crazy. It was crazy because the thing about it is we were in a meeting. And
just burned that bridge.
Yeah, I know. I love you too. But Coach Jeff Fisher walked into the meeting room. And we were just sitting there acting silly. And all of a sudden he said, you got 2 weeks to go find a house. And that's exactly how it happened. I mean, everybody was kind of sitting there bewildered because there's a lot of situations going on with the mayor and with Bud and all those things that were going on. Then all of a sudden Jeff Fisher walks in the room and says, I like his mustache. His mustache is looking kind of crazy, but,
hasn't changed.
Yeah, it hasn't changed. But, he walks in there. He said, you guys got 2 weeks to go find a house when you move down there. And I'm just like, what in the world is going on? But as coming in as a rookie in my second year, it really didn't matter because I was still kind of, raw coming into the league. So we could have played in somebody's backyard. We could have played in Montgomery Bell Academy. It was just being in the NFL was just really, really cool.
NBA would have been an upgrade, by the way.
It would have. It would have. I mean, the facilities were pretty doggone bad.
You guys started, in the Liberty Bowl in Memphis.
Oh,
my wife and I would go down and see you guys. She worked for Northwest Airlines, which had a Memphis base. So we'd catch an early flight out of Nashville, go to Memphis, watch the game, have our drinks, turn around, and come back to Nashville that night. What a weird place that was.
Weird.
Very strange.
It was the weirdest thing because when we got on the flight, it took about 2 minutes to get there. I mean, about time you
went up, you went down,
and then came down. But I think the craziest part of the whole situation was, I think it was our last time playing there. We were playing the Pittsburgh Steelers.
I was there.
And, you think you're going to have a home game and everybody's going to be excited and rah, rah. We walked out and we're getting booed. I'm like, what in Sam E. Hill is going on?
Yep.
It was the worst. It was, it was a bittersweet thing because the thing about it was sad because we're thinking we're going to have a home game. But it was good because we're going to Vanderbilt.
Yeah.
we went to Vanderbilt, then went to the stadium.
All right. A quick story about that game that maybe you don't know. So you're right. You were booed because Pittsburgh fans travel well. The game meant nothing to them. They rested people. You guys went 8-8. You went 2-6 at the Liberty Bowl, 6-2 on the road, which is, and to win 8 games in the NFL is pretty good. So under those circumstances, but Bud Adams after the game is because there's a 2-year deal to play there. And that first year didn't work out. He was so upset at how you were received. Now it rained that day.
Yeah. I remember.
And there were Pittsburgh fans there, but there was also a lot of yellow slickers. And this is true. Yeah. Had it been a sunny day, I'm not so sure Bud would have moved. He was convinced they were all Pittsburgh fans. Even in the yellow slickers. And I thought this worked out pretty well.
It was so bad. But then he got so mad that we moved to Vanderbilt. I mean, that's how mad he was. But, even though it was a tough situation, even though it was crazy, we still had a good time. And when you have guys like Bruce Matthews and guys like that are veterans that know how to handle it in a professional way, it just made it so much special. The things that Bruce Matthews did it's kind of like this. Even though the tough situation was going to move and all this is when, he would walk in the locker room. Bud Adams would walk in the locker room. He's laughing.
He would waddle.
And Bruce Matthew would change the nameplates on the names. So just imagine if Drew Bennett it was Drew Bennett's name. And Derek Mason is standing there.
Walks up to Steve McNair.
And and Bud Adams would look up at the sign and say, "Okay, how you doing, Derek Mason?" And it'd be Bruce Matthews. But things like that Bruce Matthews, even though we got booed and even though he was going through a tough situation, he still made it fun. And that's what leadership is. And it was tough. It was wild. I mean, just imagine about 53 guys, gigantic guys in small locker rooms. So even though the situation was tough, we still had to make it work. And the way you make it work is you have guys like Bruce Matthews, Brad Hawkins, Derek Mason, Eddie George. Even though we was going through a tough situation, we still handled it in a professional way.
And Vanderbilt was a difficult situation for crowds, the field, probably all the above. We had Coach Fisher on the show. He talked about that time and really had the same reflection you did. We were kind of this team of misfits that had to keep moving around, but we stayed together and made it fun. And then Adelphia opened up and you got your Real House in the 99 season. And it all came together, obviously, in the 2000 Super Bowl season. So that has to be fun to reflect on. And even now in your coaching as a coach at NBA, to tell guys that, life's not going to work out smooth. You've got to make, when things are bad, you have got to make the best of it.
Yeah, it's about handling adversity. I mean, you got two choices. You got a choice to get bitter or get better. I mean, even though it was going into the situation, I know guys were a little upset about the, everything that was going on, but we made a choice to be better. How would you get better? Not complaining, not saying this, not saying we don't have that. We just had a whole bunch of guys that actually loved each other. And in 1999, when we actually moved in the stadium, I knew something was different about that season. When we played Cincinnati Bengals, we won 36-35. And then we walked in the locker, and I'll never forget this. Everybody was standing there before Jeff Fisher talked. We knew that there was something different about the team because guys loved each other. We went through adversity. We went to get laughed at in Memphis, then come to Vanderbilt. And, Dyson has to go through not getting Randy Moss getting drafted, after
ahead of Dyson.
He had to go through all this stuff that everybody was going through in their individual lives. But collectively, we said, you know what? We're going to make this thing work. And that year, boy, we had some dogs. We got, Javon Curse, who's a freak. We had Samari Rowe, guys that said, you know what? I'm going to be added to this team and we're going to make this doggone thing work. And I'm telling you something, that was the best year I've ever had.
Well, Jeff knew that in 95, that his first draft class with you in the third round, McNair the first, Gary Walker's part of that. Michael Rohn played a nice role.
Absolutely.
Rodney Thomas was a great compulus, right? Out of Texas A&M. Mm-hmm. So you're building that. By the way, the story about Cincinnati, and this is the only time at any TV station that I ever got scolded, and I'm still bitter about it. And I want to be better, but I am bitter, okay? Is after the game, you would come back. Steve McNair had a couple of fumbles. There were boos. There were boos. And it wasn't Steve's fault. It was breakdown in coverage.
Absolutely.
So after the game, I'm doing my report, and it's the only time I got really editorial. I said, if you came to the game or watched the game on TV and you heard boos, you're an idiot. You don't know football. That wasn't Steve McNair's fault.
It wasn't.
So I get called into the GM's office the next day, and I'm thinking I'm going to be lauded for having some nads to go on there.
Right.
And he said, you must go on and apologize at 6 p.m. Our sponsors are not happy with you. You called them idiots. Now, I thought to myself, how about sticking by your guy? No, I didn't get thrown out of the bus. I got under the bus. I got thrown out of the airplane.
That is correct.
So anyway, that's my bitter part about you. But you came back and won the game, then went 8-0 at home. And so
yeah, it was just really different about the team. And the reason why I want to kind of piggyback on what I was talking about handling adversity, it was all for one moment. And I'm gonna say it like this: is when we was going through trials and tribulations, getting laughed at, getting booed. All of a sudden, we get to the Buffalo game. And it looked like we were going to lose. It looked like there was no possible way. But back then, we were preparing for that moment. Because in situations back then, we didn't panic, we didn't cry, we didn't pout. And it was the same thing in 1999 with the Buffalo Bills when they went up by a field goal. We figured out a way to win. Why? Because we prepared a long time ago.
Were you at that game?
Yeah, you're talking about the Music City Miracle play.
Yes.
We were,
you left?
I'm a founding,
No, they left.
I'm a founding member. My name's on the wall. I've been there since 1999 and, we sit in section 240. So that's on the home field side, maybe about the 5-yard line.
Right.
So we have this angle shot where you can always see the whole game. So the ball, Buffalo kicked off towards the south end zone and we saw the play unfold. And as soon as Dyson got the ball, we're like, it's over. He's going to score. Yeah. Everybody saw it. And these idiot Buffalo fans, sponsors be offended, were behind us, hammered, calling us idiots, you stupid Southern idiot morons. Here's a real team, blah, blah, blah. And obviously we won the game. The Music City Miracle happened. And those guys are just sitting there with their Buffalo hard hats on and everyone's just pounding them with throwing beers at them and stuff in the upper deck. And it was just a great game. And we saw that thing unfold firsthand that he was going to score. Where were you on the field when that happened and what were your thoughts?
Okay, first of all, Kevin Dyson wasn't even supposed to be in the game. If they ever told you that we practiced that in practice, they're lying to you. What in a Sammy? We never practiced. Hey, brother, we practiced that. No, we didn't. We didn't practice that. I remember I was on the sidelines and I looked up at the clock and in my mind, with my sight, I'm like, there's no possible way. There's only 16 seconds left on the clock. But the good thing about it is strategically how it was put together. They, I think it was Laurie, drew it up on the sidelines. And that's how it came about. We never practiced that in practice. But here's the crazy part about it is when they kick the ball, they kick it to Lorenzo Neal, who's horrible at catching the ball. I mean, it's like catching the ball. He's like catching the ball with his elbows. He's that bad. And then you got Frank Wycheck that has one of the worst arms on the league, throwing it to Kevin Dyson, who's not even supposed to be in the game. But the reason why I share that picture like that is sometimes things happen good out of the ordinary. Things that's not supposed to be there happen great for you. In that situation to where a guy's not supposed to be in the game, the guy who catches the ball is a short little wrestler guy with no neck. Lorenzo Neal, absolutely nothing. He catches the ball. Why is he even in the game?
Yep.
Why is he?
He's not the good hands people.
He's not the good hands guy. But he comes up and catches it, has the awareness to give it to Wycheck, and Wycheck has the awareness of throwing it to Kevin Dyson. So what I'm saying is we took our lemon and on that plate turned it into lemonade. And that's exactly what happened.
That was a great experience. Every time I watch it, I can say I was there.
Well, I was going to say a lot of
you left.
300,000 people say they were there, Joe, is my point. But you truly were there.
It was great that we got to see it unfold. And the second Dyson caught it, we're like, he is going to score. And that's when the crowd started to get up. The roars began. And it was just absolutely tremendous.
All right. More football memories coming.
Common sense would tell you not to look to Joe and John for this, but time for life lessons from Joe and John.
What? Yeah, don't bury that compliment over our singer. What did you say, Chris?
I said he didn't show up to the game.
No. John wasn't even there, was he? Forgot.
Not what you said.
He was supposed to be covering it.
All right.
Chris,
yes.
Fork in the road, is that
We are.
Where are we?
You're a little bitter right now. He says be better, not bitter. That's going to be the name of the podcast after we leave here.
I think we should talk more about you, John.
No. I do have too many freaking Titan stories that are. So look, you grew up in Denver.
Yes.
I had to have been a Broncos fan.
Absolutely.
I think, right? All right.
Yes.
And then you go to what got you to Ohio State other than it being really good?
Yeah. But our head coach was, his cousin was a wide receiver coach at the Ohio State University. Okay. And that's how I got there. I mean, it was, and this is a crazy story. This is before I got my life right. But the reason why I went to Ohio State, I went on a trip and there was a girl that said I was cute. So she was like, "Yeah, you're cute. Are you coming to play
5
football?"
years.
Like, yeah. I'm like, yeah. She's like, "I'll see you when you get back." Did I ever see her? No.
That could have been fork in the road there
exactly.
too. That's our next.
She must have thought, my unibrow was cute. So
what unibrow?
Did you? But
Yes.
University of Colorado was early 90s was good at that time. They must have looked at you.
They came at the last minute. I mean, a lot of times Colorado didn't recruit in Colorado. I mean, they were getting guys from, different places, but they really didn't recruit me to the last minute to Ohio State, came and got me. But here's a cool little story about the whole situation when I went to the Oilers. When I grew up watching the Denver Broncos and I grew up watching John Elway. Mm-hmm. And I said in my mind, I think I'm in the 8th grade. And that was the year where, I think it was when the Cleveland Browns, when they did the 99-yard comeback.
Yeah. And that Elway did.
Yeah. And I just said to myself, I said, man, I would like to play against him one day. And in 1995, I had my best game against John Elway.
Terrific.
That is one of the craziest stories. And I walked out and I said, can I get your autograph? And he just kind of looked at me like, little man, just get up out of here. And I said, I'm going to hit you up for 157, 2 touchdowns. Let's go get this.
You had a great deep ball thrower in Chris Chandler.
Oh, he was a dude, man. I mean, the funny thing about Chris Chandler, he was a different dude. He was a different dude. I went up to him the first day. I said, hey, I'm Chris Chandler. It's nice to meet you. He just walked away. I'm like, is this what it's supposed to be? But then one thing that I did, I said, you know what? Instead of getting mad at him, instead of getting bitter at him, I said, I'm going to earn his respect. And after the third game, I started starting. I think it was against Cincinnati Bengals. I had 2 touchdowns for 106. Now he wants to talk to me.
Good.
Come and talk to me.
So talk about your Ohio State years. You hold track records.
Yes.
You still hold the indoor long jump record.
Yes.
Is still on file. You were the 1994 Ohio State Athlete of the Year across all sports. How did track and field enter with this football career?
It was awesome. I love track, and I want to piggyback a little bit. But when I first got to the Ohio State University, I had to sit out my first year because I was academically ineligible. Then the next year I came.
So were Joe and I, but we weren't on scholarships. Nobody cared.
But you see, I got an 11 on my ACT. You get 6 for just writing your name. So it wasn't that bad. So you got 6 points. So, it's kind of emotional because the next year I had to kind of sit out. And I was this close to giving up. I said, I don't want to do this anymore. I said, Mom, I'm coming home. I'm sitting out 2 years. And I said, I am completely done. So that year I went out for track, and that I went out for track and I started to do long jump. And when I did long jump, our first meet, I jumped 25.2. And then the next meet, I jumped 25.10. And then the third meet at Iowa State, I jumped 26.9. And as I jumped 26.9, my track coach runs with me. He said, he was shaking me. He said, you know what you just did? He just said, you just broke the legendary long jump record held by Jesse Owens.
Great.
That's why I get emotional about that, because I was on the verge of quitting. I was on the verge of saying, I don't want to do this anymore. I was on the verge of saying, you know what? I'm done with all this nonsense. Didn't know that my record was waiting around the corner. I mean, that's why I hope nobody never breaks that record, because it means so much to me that out of 100, I don't know how long the school's been open, but out of 178 years, nobody has ever jumped longer than me at The Ohio State University indoors.
Go ahead.
Okay. I'm sorry about that.
No, I love it. But there's another one that I'm going to throw Joe under the bus. There's another stat that Joe would like to mention.
I already know where he's going. I can guess it. I guarantee.
Well, go ahead.
I have the negative yards, and I get it all the time.
We don't understand it. You're a receiver. Yes. So what? They did like an end around?
2 end arounds, and I got hit in my nostrils. And you got every time. Hit in square in the nostrils without a tic tac. Jason Taylor hit me twice.
And you got to live with that.
I got to live with it. But I got a record though. I'll be in the Hall of Fame with the negative 36.
Oh man!
2 end rounds.
When you in Chris's stats he holds the
I'll take it
record for negative yards for this, but he's a receiver. It's like it doesn't even make sense.
You came on, and your speed and your success. By the way, in that Raider game and in the opening, I think you had the first touchdown. I think
yes. Are we friends? Huh? I'm just asking right now. Are we friends?
Absolutely.
You said I think.
I said I think.
No. You think like, well, I think he caught a pass. Well, I think he went to Ohio State. Well,
you could have been the third touchdown of the.
I hope that he had more hair. All this stuff, man. Everything. Everything. I mean,
it's not going the way I thought it would.
He knows me more than you.
Thank you, Chris.
That hurt. Why do you still walk on your tiptoes?
Absolutely.
I always thought that was a quirky thing when you came.
I can't walk flat-footed.
Why is that?
I mean, ever since I was a young kid, I've always walked on my toes.
Always.
And I just can't walk flat-footed. It's weird, but it helped me in my sprinting. It helped me in my jumping. So it was pretty cool.
Yeah, tippy toes.
I mean, it looks kind of weird because I watch myself on film. I'm like, who's that guy? I'm looking for like, who's that guy? Oh, that's me.
Step on the crack, break your mother's. No.
That's good.
It is though. Yeah, it's weird, but man, it's not too attractive.
Rapid fire, pew, 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 rapid fire.
I'm in the doghouse, so you go first. I don't want any.
We're just going to interview you, John.
Man,
Chris, rapid fire.
Yes.
Just first thing that comes to mind.
Okay.
Some quick questions. Maybe we'll go around the horn with as easy as your lifetime in Nashville here. Where do you like to eat? What's one of your favorite restaurants to go to?
Waffle House.
A little scattered, smothered, or covered?
Oh,
diced,
everything. I just
chunked?
can't watch them cook it.
All of it?
Yeah, everything. Can't watch it. It's so good. Get the same. Like when I drive up there, I already start cooking because I get the same thing every time.
What's your hotspot location there?
Hotspot?
Where like which? I've got the one there off of Old Hickory Boulevard.
That's the one I go to.
Is it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Old Hickory. Yep. It's right on the corner by Target.
That's it.
You see how excited I got?
That's it.
I was excited. Hey, it's on the right. It is. Yeah. But yeah, I'm excited.
I'll see you there.
Are you going to treat me?
Of course I will.
Somebody loves me in this room.
I was just going to say, you guys just become BFFs right now, and I'll just walk away.
Somebody cared.
I'll get on.
And then he called me, hey, Chris, you want to come on the show? I'm like, yeah, buddy, I love you. He's like, I think you went to a house.
Sure, but
I think you are. Did you? I think.
What would be living your dead or alive? Give me a good dinner party companions that you would like to hang out with and have dinner with. Dead or alive?
Holly Berry, Jerry Rice, Billy Ocean.
Billy Ocean.
Because he can. I like his afro. The afro is the coolest thing.
Is he still rocking that? I don't even.
Yes, yeah.
He is in the.
And who else?
YouTube
I would like to sit with. Maybe the president, just to kind of pick his mind on how to become great.
Okay, which one? The current one? Okay.
Barack.
Okay.
Obama,
Okay.
yes.
All right. Okay. Because
You trying to get me in trouble?
no, I'm not. I just wanted you to narrow it down.
That's a good point.
I mean, you could have said Ulysses S. Grant, and I would have gone, "Oh, that's interesting." But
Abe Lincoln. Chris, what advice would you give your 18-year-old self now?
Take advantage of your opportunities now. Don't look back and regret some of the decisions that you made. You know, I look back and I'm not trying to preach anything, but I look back in my life. I really would have took in high school. I wish I would have took my book seriously, so I didn't have to struggle in college to get my degree.
Sure.
yeah.
Excellent advice.
What's your degree in?
Education. I don't know how I got it.
I think you got it. No, put it on a T, man. I had to knock it off. That favorite car, dream car.
Oh, Rolls Royce Phantom.
Ooh, what color?
That's like a goldish, tannish. I don't know if that's the color, but man, it's off the chain.
Okay.
And put some tennis shoes on. You know what tennis shoes are?
No.
Rims.
Oh, is that? I did not know that.
Yeah.
Hey, did you know that we got tennis shoes on our Mustang?
We got some styling tennis shoes. I'm going to say to my son,
I got sneakers. I'll be like, "Hey, everybody, look at my sneakers," and you're like, "No, dude, that's not what they meant."
I've got some Chuck Taylors on my car.
Hey, I've got some Vans. Anyway, I don't know.
What in the Sammy Hill?
Yeah, I know. It's going to get worse, Chris. Don't worry about it. Name the 3 most influential people in your life.
My mother, my track coach from high school, and my son.
Ooh.
My son.
What's in your CD player, or what's on your Apple Play Mix, or what are you listening to now?
Al Jarreau. Does anyone want to go dancing in the garden? Does anyone want to go dancing on the roof?
Nobody knew Lighting Your Fire. It really does it for Joe and
I got one from Conway Twitty now. Hello, darling.
That's the best. I worked for Conway.
Now here we hear the story.
Hear the story again?
Yeah, we got to hear the story for the 18th.
He's a
every
Conway Twitty
podcast.
fan?
No. Every
I told the
podcast.
story?
We got to tell the story.
Have
Go
I
ahead,
told
Joe.
the story?
No, please.
Well, you know, Twitty City is in Hendersonville.
Yeah.
I worked for Conway all through high school and college.
Okay.
Great man. You'd have loved him.
Yeah.
Terrific guy.
Yeah.
That's all I got. His music's terrific. I've got it on all my cassettes, 8 tracks, and albums.
You got it on the 8-track? You got 8-track?
I do.
Wow.
But it's
You are telling your age.
that's good stuff. You should come through NBA practice with the windows down, blaring some "Hello, Darling" or "Tight Fitting Jeans," and singing it to the Lord above, and let them all just hear what is wrong with Coach.
I'll get demerits.
Coach Sanders, what is wrong with
I
him?
would get demerits.
You can't play in
I'm not even a student. They'll give me demerits.
You can't show fun at NBA. That's great.
Yeah, I'll straight up get demerits. Coach, can you come here? Just meet me in the office. You got demerits.
Can you meet us in the coach's office
Yeah,
for a
I
month?
talk to you.
Oh God! And bring your playbook.
What's I think is on me, Chris. You're in outstanding shape. You look great.
Somebody cares.
What's your
No, you
workout?
do.
What's your morning routine? What's your work? Where do your workouts fit in? How are you keeping your health?
What I do is I work out twice a day. I work out at 5 a.m, and then I work out about 12:30 later on during the day. I mean, this is like this. It's a purpose why I do it, because if I tell my wide receivers that they got to look good in shape or look great, then I got to make sure I'm in shape also. I mean, I got to have the guns, and I got to have the trap muscles, and I got to have the looks. You can't just tell them to do it and not do it. That's why I love to work out.
I'm looking at his hands, and his hands would swallow a football. Look at that.
You didn't say nothing about my trap muscles.
Look at your what?
My
Oh, I
trap
can't. You know.
He's
My
posing.
trap to the side.
That's our first poser of all our guests.
Of the traps.
Traps. I don't
We've
even know
never
what
had
traps
a
are. Do I have traps?
Trapezius.
Okay, trapezius.
Yeah, I went to Ohio State, got my degree.
What's a good workout to increase your traps?
Trap work.
Like Joe.
Hey, he's got an education.
It's all
degree.
silly.
I went to
he's
Ohio
showing
State.
it.
I got my degree in education.
Is it like the shoulder shrug?
shoulder shrug.
pull up?
Yeah, we do shrug. I mean, no, I've been on. It's called shrugs.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean shrugs.
Yeah,
Sure.
and you could hold kettlebells or or dumbbells.
I shrug. I put 645s and I shrug, and that's all honesty.
What's
I
a
brag
645?
645-pound weights on each side.
Oh, dang.
So I'm
That's
pretty-
big time.
I'm
And
pretty
so
strong.
your traps are what's making your big stuff look from your shoulder to your neck.
You just look like you got a
Because
squirrel in
someone's
your
going,
neck.
what's
Yeah.
my chest? Talking about his arms? He's talking about legs?
But you look good in your suit. That's
I was going to say you look like you
good in
look
your
like an '80s suit. You look
Yes.
like you got the shoulder pads in,
Look like-
and and you don't, and you actually don't. It's, hey, no, that's me.
You wearing 80 suits, Chris?
All right. Final question. And then we're going to move on from this ridiculous segment. Name one thing in your youth that you got away with.
I can't tell you that.
Doesn't have to be bad.
I can't tell you that.
Nobody listens to this podcast.
All I'm going to say
Yeah.
is I played hide and go seek. That's all I'm going to say.
What? That opens up more avenues.
yeah,
Just narrow it down a little tighter.
The rumor mill is cranking right now. The Twitterverse. You just set off the Twitterverse.
And go. When this is when I was young, before I was a knucklehead, but just hide and go seek.
Go hide and go seek.
Hide and go seek. Let's try it one more time. Let's try this one more time. Hide. Come on, 1, 2, 3. Hide and go seek.
Uh-huh.
There you go.
Okay.
And I'm gonna leave it. That was when I was a knucklehead. So that was before the BC days. So I'm good.
Joe and John have come to the fork in the road.
Chris, the fork in the road can come in a lot of the stories that you've already talked about, but it's maybe that sliding door moment. You kind of thought in your mind, here's where I want to go. Here's what I've been working for. Here's my goals. Here's my vision. Boom. Yeah. You get a change. The fork in the road is where maybe it was your move to Ohio State. Maybe it was, should I hold out and not go to the Titans, or did I have other opportunities when I was with the Titans? Maybe it was post Titans. Okay. Well, what am I going to do with my life? Do you have that kind of moment that was a little epiphany?
Yes, I do. It was my senior year in college. And the year before that, they wanted me to do spring ball, but I didn't want to do it because I was running track and I couldn't leave the track team because we were doing so well. We were ranked in the world. And we were getting ready to go play San Diego State that year. And they started a junior. And I'm a senior. So they started him the first game. And as I'm flying home from San Diego, I didn't care if the plane went down. I'm being honest. I didn't care if the plane went down, and I was like, I'm done. And I called my mom that night when I go home. I said, Mom, I'm done. I said, Mom, I can't take this. I was coming to a crossroad today. Be like, you know what? I just want to do this anymore. And the next day I went to practice, and as we're driving to practice with me and Joey Galloway, I see Joey Galloway put his head down. He put his head down, kind of in disgust. I'm like, what is going on? So he gets up and all the cameras get out, and he got suspended for 2 games. So when he got suspended for 2 games, I get inserted back into the lineup. And the next week, I caught my first touchdown out of my career against the Pittsburgh, Pittsburgh. Mm-hmm. The next week, I caught one against Houston. The next week, I caught 2 against Wisconsin. The next week, I caught 2 against Purdue. That was my turning moment right there.
Because you didn't have anything to do with it. It all just came to you.
It did, because I was at the brink of saying, you know what, I'm done. And I was at my breaking point and said, you know what, I didn't even care about life at that moment. I was that down. I was that despair, but there was a blessing waiting for me right there when I least expected it. That was the turning point.
Let's talk about what's a blessing too. I think you've mentioned her name 3 times now, and also in a phone call before the show started. Your mother, my mother's still alive. She's 86. She's walking Jesus. She's just the greatest caring woman in the world. What kind of influence has your mom been to you?
A lot of times we look at entertainers and we look at football players and we look at people that are in the limelight as heroes. My mom's my hero, and everybody says that. But the reason why she's my hero is the way she gave. I mean, my mom, we didn't have that much. We lost her home when I was in the 10th grade, and she worked 3 jobs so we can have. And I watched her go to work with her feet swollen, with bills and crying and figuring out a way to get us food. And she always provided. And the reason why I talk about her is because I watched the greatness. I watched how she gave. I watched how she got up every morning in spite of how she felt. I mean, there was times when she would just come home and she would just lay on the bed. She didn't buy a pair of shoes for her for 15 years. Just so I can have a pair of shoes, just so my sister could have. That's why I look at her as my hero, is because she did hero things.
That's great. Led through humility. Yeah. Probably never complained.
Never complained. And
you never knew anything about it. That was just the way she was.
Yeah.
That's great.
Your love for, this happened in the New York Minute, Chris.
Yes.
If you said to me, I remember the movie Ray and Jamie Foxx won the Oscar, I believe. And
yes.
If you said, name the year, I'd say, I don't know, that was 10 years ago, 50, maybe 50. Tell the story of your connection with that movie.
Oh, it's wild. I think CJ was in the
Your son.
CJ Sanders, my son, was in the magazine, right? And the producer saw his picture in a magazine and was like, got a hold of me and Stacy's like, has your son ever did any acting? It was like, acting on what? We want to play in a Ray Charles movie. We was like, what are you talking about? Has he done any acting? It was like, no, whatever. So then they told us to put it, tape CJ on a VHS tape. That's how a VHS tape. So we taped him in the bottom of my basement. We taped it and we sent it to him. And all of a sudden they gave us a call back and said, we want him to play Ray Charles as a kid.
That's great.
That's how it came about. That's it. It was nothing that he tried to do any acting, do anything. It was just the producer saw his picture in a magazine and said, has he done any acting? Cause he looks like Ray Charles as a kid, and crushed it.
That's great.
Had no acting experience.
Let's lift CJ up further. Then he moved on to play football at Notre Dame.
Yes.
And you just used him as one of the most influential people in your life. Why is that?
It happened this last year. And the reason why I say he's my hero is because, a couple of years ago when he didn't get drafted, and I watched him break down in my living room because that was his dream. So instead of him, saying, woe is me, you know what he did? This was during COVID. And what he did, instead of him crying and whatever, he went in his room and he taught himself 3 languages.
Oh, tremendous.
3 languages.
Big. By
just looking on the app. And said, I'm going to learn Spanish, German, and I forgot the other one. Said, I'm going to learn it because this is what he said. He said, if I'm going to be one of the best actors of all time, then I got to prepare like I am. And that's why he's my hero.
What's he doing now?
He's in California doing acting.
That's going to be his acting.
Yep, he's down there doing it.
Is he got anything cooking or?
He's doing a lot of auditions and everything. And then he actually got a big time job down there working at a place called Dart. You ever heard that? Insurance? Dart? D-A-R-T? I don't know either. Just bring the check. I'm good.
Might want to Google that, Chris. I know. See if there's a place. Dad, Dart. Another great night at Dart.
Why is he on TV? But I watched him mature as a man.
Yeah.
And I told my son this. I said, son, the reason why I'm proud of you and you're my hero is because you didn't let your circumstances dictate what you were going to become. Because the funny thing about it is he needed one more touchdown to. We good?
No. Yeah,
I'm sorry. He needed one more touchdown to tie the all-time return in FCS. Mm-hmm. He needed 2 to break it.
This is at Notre Dame?
It's at Notre Dame.
Uh-huh.
And for him not to get drafted is crazy, but he didn't let that stop him, and that's why I love that dude.
That's great. What a tremendous story.
Yeah.
So we're going to look for him. CJ's, what is he got a Hollywood name or is he using his real name?
So you don't like me either, do you?
Why is that?
I'm just kidding. I'm giving you a hard time.
We'll look for CJ Sanders on the big screen.
You gotta wear shades.
Oh man, I'll just give you a hard time.
That's all right, baby.
God, we are two sensitive suckers,
good.
aren't we? We're bitter old men, and we're just
horn, man.
Don't tease me.
I bet we all would say if you're gonna dish it, you got to take it. So
that's true. So we end this with, and I can't think of, I follow you on Facebook, not stalk, but
you do.
And you're on there once or twice. I meant this morning. And but you're one of the more positive, spiritually positive people I ever know. You want to, and you do inspire so many other people. Your message is always good. It's always, and I think the theme of this podcast with you has been about the comeback or fighting adversity, getting up off the floor. So why is the future? I mean, the future is bright for you. Where are you in 5 years, 10 years?
I'm changing the world. I mean, I want to work in NFL, and actually one day I want to own my own team, and all those things. Because the thing about it is we talk about how do we make our world better, or how is it to be a great leader? It's about making others better. And the way you make others better is by serving and by helping and giving. I love doing it. And the reason why I love doing that is because somebody helped me in my lowest moment. And the reason why I say that is it was in my freshman year of high school. Don Gatewood, never forget it, is I hurt my knee in wrestling. I came out for track, and I get into the last track meet because I came off my injury, and I go on the track meet and I lose, and I walk on the bus and everybody's laughing at me, and I'm sitting in the back, and I'll never forget this. Is he walked between everybody with them laughing at me, Mom, and he pulled me off the bus and he looked me in the face without a tic tac. He said this. He said, "You're going to be a state champion one day." And I said, "What are you talking? I can't even beat these guys." My senior year, I won the long jump, I won the 200, and I won the 1 to 2 in the long jump. Now, here's the good part about it is is I broke the state record, and it still stands to this day. So what I'm saying is that's why I inspire people, is because somebody inspired me when I was at my lowest.
Excellent. I think that's always, for every one of us, there's always a good positive word that we can offer someone to change their day. Words do matter. I don't know why this is popping in my head, but we talked about it a little bit before the show. Words matter. And when you think someone's someone else and there's not. I fly planes now for a living. We had gone into Boca Raton, Florida. It was my dad went to Ohio State. We're Ohio State people, Ohio State in my family. And so
you could have mentioned that earlier.
I know.
Then Chris would really like it.
I would really love it.
We got Mr. Notre Dame over here all the time and with all that stuff going on. But anyway, so we're in South Florida. We were flying folks in for what was the Ohio State Alabama game. What year was that? A couple of years ago. Championship game.
Those teams all run together.
Yeah.
The last 5 years, could have been it.
There's busyness at this plane next to us, and it's a big guy. And I think this is. I think I know who this is. And he's walking inside. I'm walking inside. I'm timing this so I can walk up and get a picture with him. And it's Justin Fields.
No way.
And I'm like, Justin, I said, and it's loud. I'm like, Justin, man, can I get a picture with you? My dad went to Ohio State. And blah, 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 blah. I take a picture and I send it to my kids. And my sons are 21 and 22. Massive sports. They want to work in sports ownership as well. Dad, that's Jalen Hurts. You're so stupid. So
no way.
I'm sitting there. And
that's what he did to me.
And he's like, Jalen Hurts is looking at me like, are you messing with me? Because I kept calling him Justin Fields. Oh my God. I said, my dad went to Ohio State. We love y'all. And he keeps staring at me and he took a picture with me. And my Joey goes,
that is
Dad,
hilarious.
That's Jalen Hurts. You're so stupid.
Have you ever been being around town and stuff? And you've been high profile, doing a lot of things, and
absolutely
you're doing a lot of radio and TV appearances and TV and all that. Do you get people? I mean, we've had it where people joke that they think I'm Neil Oren. Hey, Neil, and I'm like, no, not really. Anybody call you like Derek Mason or
no? They call me Derek Mason or Kevin Dyson.
You can be Kevin Dyson, Dr. Dyson.
I'm prettier than him. Somebody called me Gary Coleman one time. Gary Coleman.
Gary Coleman. Oh my God. What you talking about, Willis?
Nah, they always mistake me of Denzel Washington or Morris Chestnut.
Yeah. Or Billy Ocean.
Billy Ocean. Yeah.
You know who I get, and this is serious. And this happened twice at Midway Airport in Chicago, and I damn near got a free rental car out of it.
No way.
Who do you think? Who do you think? Like Doppelganger or whatever?
Park Harsky?
No, please. Steve Kerr. I got a little bit of Steve Kerr.
You do, John.
Yeah, the Golden State head coach. They're like, I was in Greece one time, and the guy would not leave me alone. He was a Greece basketball player, and he goes, Coach Kerr. I go, I'm not Coach Kerr. He goes, I know that's not your wife. I go, no, that is my wife, but I'm not Coach Kerr. And he wouldn't wear it. And he left down a napkin he appreciated, but he didn't like that I think Golden State let go a Greece player or something. I mean, to this day, he probably went up to an All-Star game with Coach Kerr and said, Coach saw you in Greece. Good. Dude, I went in Greece. No, it's on the DL.
But now you know how it feels.
Mistaken identity.
Hey, it has been a fast hour, dude. I'm so well. That's how we roll, man. So we're very, very appreciative.
Thank you so much.
And you and many of the Titans like Dr. Dyson and Eddie George and all this. And, that era will always be, Joe being a season ticket holder, me being able to do the coaching show for 13 years.
Awesome.
Those are years I feel like I can go back and replay those games. And I know your stats, dude. I know what you've done. And you were electric.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
You put a lot of smiles on a lot of faces. So thank you for your time very much.
I appreciate y'all, man. You guys are awesome, and I love what you guys do. And I love the show. I love the life that you guys bring. I mean, it's really refreshing because sometimes in life we forget to laugh, and it's so good to laugh because it is like honey, like a honeycomb. It's sweet to laugh.
Well, you're in charge of the youth of America now.
Yeah.
So may God bless you.
Thank you so much.
And keep you and make his face shine upon you, Derek Mason. So,
God, you were so close to a solid ending.
Kevin Dyson? Oh. The one and only Chris Sanders, which means you'll come back. If you had a good time here, we'll have you back.
No,
he's not coming back.
No, I'm good. No, heck yeah, I'm coming back, man.
Oh, you're just a great spirit.
Appreciate it. Thank you so much.
You're the one who lights up the room. So
appreciate you.
We thank you for being a guest on the Second Cup of Joe. And John.
It's the Second Cup of Joe and John as their guests expound on any and all topics within the realm of decency. Want to be a sponsor? Let a TV and radio guy help build your business. Email the show, secondcupofjoeandjohn@gmail.com.